Welcome to Mike's apartment, where we review cuisine, booze, and try to have a little bit of comedy along the way. With me tonight is my co-host, Thom. Thom, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It was a bit of a rough day at work today. Got slammed with a lot of stuff, but now I'm looking forward to relaxing with a drink, some, like you said, fine comedy along the way, and a little bit of a conversation about something that we both like.
And all right,
But
everyone, if you have not already done this, I will say this. 98% of our viewers watch the show and do not subscribe. It would mean everything to us, to me and Thom, if you would subscribe, like, share, even comment, positive or negative. And,
hit the reminder button. Yeah,
yeah. Hit your button. Actually, you can just hit
a
down.
bell.
Well, I think, well, if my finger doesn't go across the screen here, but if you just click down the subscribe button's right in the corner of the screen, the lower right if you're facing the screen. So I guess here if that makes any sense. Anyways, yeah, it would mean the world to us, and it only takes you a few seconds. Doesn't cost you a thing. And again, yeah, 98% of the people who watch us are not subscribing. And this is what enables us to keep making content, so we would love it. Also, we are totally down for any kind of ideas you have. You want us to review a drink? You want us to review a geeky topic or idea? We'll totally do it. Throw it at us. We will definitely 100% consider it. So,
hmm But we're always having geeky conversations. Like earlier, we were talking about with our friends online. We were talking about like the astrophysics and stuff like that, and how would faster than light travel work, which actually relates kind of back to Star Wars. I mean, they have hyperspace travel. So
I mean, yeah, many would argue, Star Wars is more space fantasy versus
yeah,
science fiction.
yeah.
They don't delve well, and
But
well, we'll
who
get
knows?
we'll get into
Yeah,
some of that in a
it's
second
possible
here.
that kind of stuff might be real somewhere. I don't know, but
Now, tonight we are reviewing the fabled, or not so fabled, bear. Whoa! My screen just took a hit for the worst. There is focused in. Sorry about that, everyone. Barefoot Cabernet, ooh, otherwise known as Cab to many of the lay folk. Now, Thom, can you regale us with any stories about Barefoot of any kind? Is
I
it? It's not easy.
I
It's
have
not E.G. Galloway, is it?
no. It's E and J
Oh, E and J.
Gallo,
Oh, I'm sorry. And is that it?
and yes, they distribute it. I swear I don't look this up ahead of time. I do all of this after we decide, and then like probably 5-10 minutes before we
Okay.
start the show, I'll Google it and just
I'm
look it up
I'm
on the
calling their
internet.
advertising department tomorrow, and I'm gonna demand a contract. We do so many of their, we review so much of their liquor. They might as well.
Pay us, yeah.
I mean, oh
And
man.
most of it's been good. Yeah, I don't remember what all we've reviewed of theirs, but I'm curious. I buy this E and J brandy, and I'm like, oh really? That I didn't even think about it. It's like they probably make that too. It's like
They're in on all of it. The game is theirs. All right. Anything beside outside of that company, which we've reviewed more than a few times? What else? Anything specific you could tell us, or anything?
I didn't dig too much into it.
Thom, you
I
have
have
one job on this show. And no, I'm just kidding.
I have tried. I don't know if I've had their Cabernet before, but a number of years ago, I remember we would when I was first married and we were poor. The barefoot wine was pretty cheap, and then we would get that sometimes. Sometimes other brands that were also cheap, but
Well, I would argue today it's still pretty economical. I think I paid $7.99. I mean, this is not a big bottle. This is
yeah,
a small bottle. It's
I
only
I got I got the
whatever.
big bottle. I think it was like 12, $13
Yeah, this is a little
plus.
one. It was like $7.99 or something. I don't know. Very, very reasonable, very accessible. You know, it's Here's the other thing too, and maybe you can fill us in on this since we're talking about a little bit of wine trivia. I have heard that so-called wine connoisseurs, these wine aficionados who say they're only into the fanciest and the oldest and the whatever most mature wines can tell the difference, are actually, when they do real tests, they can't tell the difference between prison wine, wine made from grape juice behind a toilet or in a toilet, whatever it is. They can't tell the difference between that and fine wine. I've heard about that. Is that true, Tom? Like, is it true that this whole
I've
wine thing is a big fake, whatever?
I don't I don't know too much about that specifically, but I do know there's a grocery store called Trader Joe's that makes their own wine. They call it $2 chuck, but I think now it's like $3 a bottle,
It's gone up.
or maybe it's a little more. Maybe it's more now. I don't know. I haven't bought it in a while, but that was award-winning wine, and I remember I went to an event where they were talking about cigars, and then the subject about pairing a cigar with a drink came up. And forgive me if I've told this story on the show before, but I remember one night I had ordered a box of 100 cigars, and it came out to like $1 per cigar plus tax. And then I had gotten some of that $2 chuck wine. It was a red cab or something like that, and I sat by a little campfire in the backyard and had the cigar and the wine, and they paired together so well. It was like a $9 experience. It was so good.
That's what she said. No, I'm just kidding. $9 experience. Anyways,
Yeah.
all right. So just for our viewing audience here, Tom and I have at least opened. Now, let's be clear here. I grabbed this, my wine opener, my wine bottle
You did
opener. I grabbed this, and I was like, I'm expecting this wine, and you know what I got? What I got was this, a cap that twists off. My God, we are delving into some kind of territory tonight, but I'm excited about it.
Well,
Um,
we've had that before with one of the wines that we tried before. I don't remember
Sure.
which it was.
But anyway, so
All
this is
right.
a this is a twist off. Tom and I have both let it breathe. I have let it sit in this glass for at least 20 to 30 minutes. What would you say you've
About
done?
about the same for me. I read that it's best to let it breathe for about an hour.
But
I think if you're going to do that, then you need to have a decanter, which is like another like a
like a
it's
separate
a
crystal
specially
thing,
designed.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's shaped such that you pour the wine in it, and then it lets it breathe more. The more surface area that's exposed to the air, the better it breathes. So
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I smell this.
it smells pretty sweet. I don't know.
Mine
Do you smell
smells.
that sweetness?
Oh, there's sweetness, but it's like a nasty. Sorry. Oh, I shouldn't say that to one of our soon-to-be biggest sponsors, but I don't know. You know what, Tom? I'll be honest with you. Let's just drink it. I'm not. I can't.
I'm looking forward to it. So,
Cheers.
oh, and I got a check for $100. Just a minute, put that in my pocket.
damn, damn you, Tom. Damn you, you dirty ape. No. All right. All right.
All right,
Cheers.
cheers, cheers.
Now you're supposed to swish and do all that other shit, but we're not gonna. I mean, this is
And then you spit it out and have some bread to clean your palate.
and well,
So
I think I might have some.
yeah,
I think I have some hot dog buns in the in the kitchen. I don't think that's gonna cut it though.
no, I'll get back to this in just a minute. I know I worked with a gal who also was a bartender for a second job, and she said that they had a wine tasting of some like new wines that they were getting, and the way they were supposed to do it was you take a sip, swish it around, whatever, get the flavor, and then you spit it out. Then you clean your palate with some bread, and then try the next one. But
I think we've discussed this, and I'm pretty sure
they didn't do that.
you can also use water if you don't want to use bread. You can use water to cleanse the palate. I believe.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know that they didn't do the spitting it out thing.
Yeah.
They had to wait to drive home that night.
I had I've had in my so this is Mike's apartment, right? We're pretty lowbrow here. I'm not a rich or wealthy person, in my entire life, I've had exactly two restaurant experiences where the whole wine thing was a thing. One was in New York City, the other one was in Minneapolis. I mean, both times the sommelier, otherwise known as the wine. If you're in a fancy enough restaurant, they have a. It's not your server, it's not your host. It's a separate person. They're called a sommelier, which just means wine steward, and they're the person that comes over and like suggests how to pair, what wine with what you're ordering. I mean, typically, yeah, red meat is red wine.
Hmm.
Pork or chicken, which is white meat, is going to be white wine. I mean, you could
Or
kind of
fish.
or fish, yeah. Um, anyways, long story short, though, that's I've in my entire life I've had to do it exactly twice, and we had someone there to like walk us through the whole process. But yeah, there was the whole palate cleansing thing. But again, right. So what we're let me just go over this in my mind. So okay, they come over with the wine. They give you a tiny pour. You
Hmm.
you take here. Let me just you first sniff. You smell.
Hmm. Okay.
You get that full whatever, and then you
Hmm. The full body, and then
go. I don't actually have a thing to spit in, but you'd spit, and then that's when
you
you
can spit
take a
it out
glass.
back into this.
No, I
No,
I
I'm
wouldn't
kidding.
do it at a restaurant like that. But yeah, and then you have a separate glass for water. You cleanse your palate, and then you look up. Eye contact with the sommelier, and it's 99% of the time it better be you just nod your head. If you go, I don't know. I've never done it. I've never seen anyone do it. I don't know exactly what happens. I know that's kind of reserved for rich people, and you may or may not have to pay for that first bottle of wine too, even if you don't like it. Maybe not. It probably depends on what kind of bill you're looking at. I would say the bill, it was for four people in New York City. It was over
Mm.
$1,000 for four of us. The
Oh,
one
geez. Yeah,
in the
yeah,
one in Minneapolis was also for four of us, and that was like a bit above 500. Now, again, let's
yeah.
keep in mind this is both of these experiences happened more than a decade ago for me, so the price is probably even more now. And I personally, I will say this: me and the lady, we have reservations for. It's not Fogo de Chao, the Brazilian steakhouse. It's called M Chamas. I want to say M Chamas.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a place that's just here in Kansas City. But yeah, we have a reservation for it. It's familiar, where they bring over the skewers and they carve out the meat. And this is
Mm.
probably, and I'll be honest with you, this is probably the second fanciest place that me and the girlfriend, and I say
Have been.
girlfriend, we live together. She's asleep in the other room right now. This is it's more she's more than just my girlfriend, but just for simplicity's sake, we'll say girlfriend. And this is probably the second fanciest place we've ever gone to. So I will just say for steakhouses, maybe I'm not the best. You can look on YouTube. There's all kinds of fancy people who go out to these places. And as we're talking, we are talking about wine here, and they go out and have all these fancy wines. But actually, here's the weird thing. She and I already talked about it. We're probably just going to have water there because, I mean, can we kind of afford it? I mean, yeah, we're not that. It's not like we're poor living on the. We're not that poor. But at the same time, we're like,
A
well, you know
paycheck.
what?
Yeah.
If we want a few drinks, we can just come home and have some. We don't need to.
Yeah. Talking about like some of these fancy restaurants, and then we were talking about that $3 chuck. This was hearsay. I don't think I ever read this, but I heard some people were talking about various restaurants getting caught serving that $3 chuck, and it was like $9 a glass.
I believe it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was.
And
If
that's
that's
why.
true, I mean that's sure. I mean, if they could get by with it, I mean they're making money, whatever. But
Well, and that's like what I sort of was asking you earlier, which is I heard about those so-called wine tastings where they'd fool
yeah,
the
yeah,
connoisseurs and aficionado, these supposed wine experts. They would
yeah. That's
fool
the
them by
probably the
taking the
story.
prison wine and serving it to them, and they're like, "Oh, this is the best stuff ever." And it's like, Really? This is what, Oh, we got a doggo in the pick.
Yeah, and she
Hey,
wants a
doggo.
glass. So this week I'm gonna let her try some.
Oh, is she old enough
No,
for
I'm
some?
kidding.
I think we probably say this every time. Is she old enough for a drink?
Yeah, no, she's 28 in dog years.
Well, damn. She should have
Maybe a
already
little.
had a few litters of puppies by now. No.
I think she had one.
Oh, did she?
I don't know for sure, but all I know is she was found, was it in Iowa, on the side of the road with a litter
Mm.
of puppies. Were they
Oh.
hers? I don't know. But
Well, put
when
two and
when
two
the
together,
rescue,
right?
yeah, when the rescue, I didn't see the pictures of the puppies. I don't think, but I just, but she got the most rescues. I think fix the animals when they come in. So she got spayed after that. So she's never gonna have puppies again, I guess. But she does have some
Understood.
mama instincts. I was watching the Dog Whisperer. Did I tell this story too already? I feel like I did. But the there was an episode where he had brought out like some. He had a super shy dog, and he had a pit bull mama that had just had a litter of puppies, and they were old enough that they could start meeting other dogs, and so he brought the shy dog into the where the puppies were, and they started yapping, like puppies do. And Susie, for the first time during the whole like several seasons I've been watching, stuck her head up and went right up to the TV and was like looking around trying to figure out where the puppies were. Because I don't know how well they can make out the TV, but she knew there were puppies.
Yeah, I've heard of
And
people playing like sounds of dogs barking, and
mhm,
sometimes dogs will react to the barking.
yeah, we had a foster dog back in like 2017 or 18 that would whenever the kids were playing Minecraft and they'd get a dog, uh, she would go up to the TV because she could hear it. But
Well, all right, Tom. Tonight we
do we want
need.
to what do we want to do the rating real quick?
Oh, yes, 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 of course. Thank you for reminding me. As we've
Yeah.
had some comments in the past that we don't do the rating fast enough, blah, blah, blah. Just kidding. No, we actively listen to everyone. We have a rating here at Mike's apartment. 5. 5 is ambrosia. It's the top of the scale. It's food of the gods. 0. 0 is shit. Shit of the gods. Tom and I gauge everything on the top of the 5, bottom of the 0, which mathematically makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense in a show like this. All right, Tom, let's have it. How would you rate this, and more importantly, why?
Okay, I would give it a rating of 5 minus 2.7.
Because that was the cut. Was that the cut they gave you? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm kidding. No, I think it's a little below average for me. I think from what I have, it's been a while since I've had a cab, um, but I'd say 2.8, maybe, maybe a little lower. I don't know. You might probably rate it lower than, but
2.5.
I
I'd say
2.5.
2.5 is where I would
I
go
mean,
with it, but
it's fine.
it's okay.
I
It's
I would
drinkable.
probably choose a different cab if I had a choice, which tonight I don't.
Mm.
So I guess I'm just going to work on this, and maybe it'll get better with each glass. The
Well,
way drinking
I
normally
would
goes.
say the way that we drink, it always gets better with each glass. Everything gets better with each glass.
Yeah.
I would just say again, I am not the wine person that Tom is. I definitely am not. I prefer beers, lagers, and ales. That's kind of my thing a little bit more. What can I tell you about it? It kind of has like to me anyways, and maybe I'm wrong. It kind of has like a sour smell, which by itself, and maybe that's just my bottle. I mean, I don't know. It's by itself. That's not a big deal. I can drink it though. Like
I
if I
think
drink it, it's
it might,
fine.
it might be better with like a burger or maybe a good steak. Maybe not even a
Steak.
good steak, just a mediocre steak. I don't know.
Well,
But
that's the thing. Okay, that's a whole nother topic though. I'm gonna stop there. All right, focus. Mike's
oh yeah,
apartment must focus. All right, I have like a million things I could say about the steak thing. As people may know, I'm a home cook, but I am a brutal critic of restaurants too. So, but anyways, we'll save that for another time when it comes to steak, because that's the other thing I'm a critic of is steaks. Anyways, long story short, all right. So 2.8 for Thom, 2.5 for Mike. Let's just say this to everyone. You're at the liquor store, you don't have a lot of money, you want a wine that's decent, try this out.
Mm-hmm.
If you have more money, maybe get something a little bit more high end, but don't feel bad if you don't, because this is probably, a lot of people, if they're not that familiar with wine anyways, they may not notice the difference anyhow. And,
Yeah.
and again, the whole thing that I brought up about prison wine, that some wine aficionados and connoisseurs have put on the same level as like a 50-year-old whatever something wine that's supposed to be like the best of the best. That whole wine aging thing, I'd say it more applies to people than wine, because just like Thom and I, we have aged like a fine wine, and we've only got better with the years, right, Thom?
Yeah. Sorry, my other computer went to sleep, and now I was trying to get it to turn back on, but
No worries.
Windows Hello isn't recognizing my face, probably because I have all this stuff in front of it. But
All those bottles of EJ Galloway
maybe I
product.
should retake my picture for Windows Hello on my work computer with a bottle and a glass of wine by me.
Oh, I'm sure your boss would love that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't
Yeah.
have to know, right? No, I'm
Um,
kidding.
well, Active Directory is what it is. Anyways, long story short. Okay, to tonight's topic. Now, if all you came for was the wine rating, we bid you adieu, but still subscribe. We still
Good night.
expect a
Yeah.
subscription, but we bid
And a
you.
like and
But
a share and a click the bell thing wherever Mike
yeah,
pointed
all
or wherever it is.
there, or wherever it is, it's on your screen. Okay, for the geeks and the nerds and those of us who love Star Wars, there are in the galaxy at large. Now, I believe there are a few different Force traditions, but some are more based on a planet or something like that. But they all come to two common themes: the Jedi Code and the Sith Code. Now, Thom, not to put you on the spot,
But to put me on the spot.
read, if you don't mind, I would like you to read the Jedi Code. I will read the Sith Code. We don't necessarily
Okay.
have to argue in either direction about it, but we should at least make it apparent to the people still listening. So if you
All
would,
right.
if you don't mind.
So this is what we have for the Jedi code is there is no emotion, there is peace. There's no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no patience, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the force.
Very good. Except I would substitute patience with passion, but that's okay. Good enough.
I don't know, you're the one who sent it to me.
It it
I blame you.
it says passion. Anyways,
Does
we're
it
not
say
gonna.
passion?
Yeah, there's not passion.
Oh, I said patience, sorry.
It's
There's
okay.
no passion,
I
there
I
is
would only bring
serenity.
it up because the Jedi are like supposedly full of patience. But anyways,
Yeah, I apologize
all
for
right.
misreading.
Now for the Sith Code, and I will say it in a voice and a tone more Sith-like than Mike's apartment. Peace is a lie. There's only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The force shall free me. Hold your applause, everyone. Hold your applause,
I
please, till
thought
the
that
end.
was freebie, but
All right. So, what do
all right.
we know? So, we know this, at least. In the Star Wars movies, they're very Jedi centric, right? Like the point of view is nearly almost about the Jedi, except for I would argue in Revenge of the Sith, you get a glimpse at the Sith code a bit, but I'm not sure that Anakin is the best representation of the Sith
Mm,
code, because
mhm.
he kind of also violated a lot. I mean, in both ways. Now, one thing I will say, well, they tried to make it very dramatic. So remember in episode 2, it was the early 2000s, it was Star Wars Attack of the Clones. They had all those posters up of, Anakin with Padme. And they just said, a Jedi cannot love, or something like that, or a Jedi can't be in love. And they kind of illustrated how they were going against the Jedi code despite whatever. And that was the big movie. I remember that was like one of the big movie posters at the time because it was trying to make a big, thing. I don't feel like that movie really, I mean, it was kind of corny and hokey in some things, but
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I really connected with Anakin when he's like, I hate sand. It gets everywhere.
It does get
I
everywhere.
mean, it does. I mean, have you ever
Been to a beach?
been to, yeah. You go in the water, you come out, it's everywhere. They have showers so you can get rid of it, right? So,
Apparently not in the past. Well, whatever, 100,000 years in the past or whatever. Because remember, it's not the future, it's the past, apparently. I don't know.
you're right. They might not have showers in Star Wars. Who knows?
Even though
They might have
they have everything else, but not
they have
showers.
they have chemical baths. It's similar to the droid's chemical bath or
Oh
whatever
yeah,
they call
put me in the oil or whatever. C3PO was like, put
it.
me in
Yeah.
the oil bath or whatever he said. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's a he, right?
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
C3PO is
Yeah.
male, right? Or am I right?
Yeah. And
Right.
then I guess according to an interview with the people from the Acolyte, R2 is a lesbian.
Mm,
So,
makes
of
sense. Makes sense.
course, they were joking, and then everybody blew it up on their
The
whatever
acolyte.
channels.
Well,
But
we won't focus. I mean, I guess the acolyte is kind of a good represent. Well,
sort of, they don't really. I don't think
they
they
don't go
really.
into it. Yeah, it's
They
not.
don't. I think it's all like they try to show versus tell, which I think certain elements I thought they did a good job. But
Well, I think. Oh my god. Well, let's. Shit. I would love to give spoilers right now, but I am so afraid of in this Star Wars community that while the
yeah,
other shows are like whatever 40 plus years old, we still got people yelling spoilers. So I'm not sure about a show that only
yeah.
came out
Well,
like
okay. I
a couple years ago.
oh shoot, what was I going to say about Acolyte? I don't know. Well, I know what I was going to say. It wasn't specific to Acolyte. It was like if there's any like diehard fans like that are watching, they probably already watched all of those shows
I
on
would
Disney Plus.
I would hope so. I would really, really, really hope so, but I don't know. All I would say is this: yeah, there's the whole twin thing, and then you find out other dude actually is. But the thing was, it was kind of obvious that he was like the Sith master or whatever. It was like incredibly obvious. I felt anyways when I first watched it. I was like, well, that's, I would say most people who are familiar with Star Wars would not be entirely surprised by the chain of events in that show. Maybe some people who haven't seen it would be like, "Oh my god, it was him." I don't know. Maybe.
I
Maybe.
so I guess there are some. So they canceled the second season
That's
of the
what I heard.
show,
Yeah, I heard that.
and
Yeah.
I read that was an official thing release, and then but fans are I think trying to get the second season into production or something.
It wasn't
But I don't know.
bad. I mean, it
That
wasn't
that
bad. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I don't know.
I think I agree with the one review I saw on it where they because I watched the whole show and kind of had some I was like highs and lows and I was like happy with some things, unhappy with other things, whatever. And this one review, they watched the entire show and they're like, it was average. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It's not worth complaining about. It was average, and there were some people who were upset about. I think some of the was it identity politics or whatever
Mm,
with like
yeah.
and the Jedi acting like the bad cops, stealing a kid from two lesbian mothers or whatever. It's like you can't raise a kid. You're gay or whatever. It's like
Well, and that
I
was
mean that
sort of
was
that
what some people
planetary,
were reading. It.
yeah, and that
Yeah.
was like that tradition that they had on that planet was the two mothers, which arguably, and I'm not, I mean, yeah, that same tradition I don't think that a tradition exists, but we
So
definitely that's okay. I mean, it's okay to have
they were the Night Sisters, right?
yes, which are from that Dharma. It starts with a D,
I
right?
think they were introduced in the Ewok movies, I believe. Originally, there
Yeah,
was
the
a,
Night
I think
Sisters
the
of
lady.
whatever. So they were kind of
I,
like they weren't Sith, but they were a dark side tradition that kind of
they used the
evolved on its own. They
Force.
used the Force, and it
Uh,
was dark side motivated, which is actually great that you brought that up. So this is the thing that I would like to kind of talk about. So outside of the whole light side, dark side, where you immediately think good and evil, right? Like that's like the merest. If you just watch the movies, that's probably enough for you, right? Like that's probably all the deeper you need to go. However, if that's not enough for you, I have a few little arguments here. So now the Jedi are also about they're about abstinence. They're about not
Self control.
self control, but all the time, and even in ways that might be a detriment to themselves, just because, like, for example, they can't get married. They're not supposed to fall in love.
Kids.
They're not supposed to have any kind of strong emotion because they believe ultimately those emotions will lead to hate at some point, right? Like it's not
Or
just
emotional connections too, like to other people.
because then it takes them away from their focus on the force and instead they're focusing on these people or whatever, right? Now, the Sith you could argue their dark side, whatever, but actually if you look at like maybe like remember like in the 90s all those self motivational things like you can do it through the
Oh yeah,
power of yourself. Just believe in yourself. Visualize
yeah.
you doing it, you achieving it, you doing, all of that reminds me heavily of the dark side because it is self motivated. Like they have passion, they have feelings, they have whatever, but it's all about themselves. They focus on themselves while the Jedi folk are supposed to anyways focus externally, on the what's good for more than
Hmm.
just themselves immediately. And then you could kind of look at let's look at the basics here. So when I was in college for psychology, there was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like at the bottom you had your basic needs like eating, sleeping, um,
Shelter.
yeah, shelter, whatever you had to do to survive. Above that, there's mating, there's, sexual activity where you're continuing on the species. Above that, you finally get to like emotional actualization, like you're doing something like that could be a lot of it could be beauty. If you're like an artist, it's like making a piece of art. If you're some kind of engineer, it's like creating something else. It's always about your self actualization, which could come out a lot of different ways. And that's kind of like the highest. And again, don't quote me. I mean, this has been 15 years since I graduated, so don't quote me on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But it's something like that. So if you look at it, the Sith code kind of focuses on your needs. Like you put, you're going to go eat and have whatever you're going to consume what you want. If you want to have sex, you're going to have sex with the partners that you want. If you're going to achieve success, it's going to be in the way that you want. Normally, well, for the Sith, it would normally be through force power. Like, they want to make themselves more powerful. Yet, I would argue the Jedi also want to make themselves more powerful. But from their perspective, they're not becoming more powerful
For
not
self
for the
gain.
sake of power, but for wisdom and to use it for the betterment of quote unquote the galaxy or, most of the species that exist.
And yep, and taking children from gay parents.
Well, according to Acolyte, yes.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
Sorry.
yeah, I
I'm
would
sorry to
say that's,
derail you.
well, not to get too political about it, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened in the show. I mean, I would say most of the Jedi would probably just leave, especially if it doesn't like encompass other planets. They might kind of not.
Mhm.
I mean, I think the Night Sisters existed all throughout when the Republic ruled. They just, they never really went beyond their own planet. So the Jedi were just like, well, whatever. And if
Yeah.
you remember too, like, yeah, I mean, the Sith mostly started in Korriban, their planet, the planet of the Sith, and they had like that valley with all the king. They have those statues coming up, and beneath each one is like a shrine where there may or may not be like a Force ghost, like what are there, Freedon Nad and I
Hmm.
can't remember the other ones. Many of the ancient Sith lords that existed there, their ghosts or personalities may still exist. There might be lightsabers and or other pieces of dark side force, like holocrons or something that can help you along the dark side of the force. For the light
They,
side,
they they have Jedi holocrons too, but
yep. And then normally, what is it? The Jedi holocrons are normally cubes. The Sith ones are normally pyramids, but they can be different, I guess. It's not. It's not a 100% of a rule. It's just in general, the Jedi ones are cubes. The Sith ones are pyramids. But that's
yeah.
again that's not like 100%. Like there are some Jedi holocrons that are pyramids
Did
and vice versa. So.
did they have a Sith holocron in Episode 9? The so what was we had
Ooh, you're gonna ask me that.
the Last Jedi, and then what was the ninth one called? I don't know.
Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah, Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. My gummies are
Um,
kicking in.
well,
But no, I thought that's what didn't Kylo Ren destroy it or whatever, and then they had to figure a way to find it.
honestly, I'll be 100% honest with you. I only saw that movie twice because, oh God, I'm gonna get some hatred here. I'm gonna get some shade here. I really dislike the movie. I really, really, really do not like
It
Rise of Skywalker. I
I
actually, I'll
think
be in general, all of the three last Disney movies, I'm not the biggest fan of.
I I
Um,
saw
I saw them all in the
somebody
theaters, but
mentioned that the same review show I like to watch. They love Star Wars in well they did, and so some
yeah,
of the more recent stuff. But they commented that with the Rise of Skywalker, if you like just slowed it down, you could spread it out. You could probably have seven halfway decent movies, you know. But they just shoved way too much into try to get that all into one movie, and it was something happened, and then 2 minutes later you're on thing, on to the next thing.
I just
Um,
personally, I, I don't know. All of the movies, you could argue, the Rey character is kind of a Mary Sue. I mean, you could argue, I don't know, all the characters they were just trying to fit certain points, but none of the characters are actually like that fleshed out. So it's not that. And I would say, the people saying, "Oh, we got to have one of every type of person that currently exists on Earth in this show." And it's not that I don't necessarily want that. It's that the characters have to have a chance to develop, and they have to. It's not let's have this character based on how they look, or what who they're having sex with, or what how they identify. That part matters less to me than the plot and or the background of the character that we get to explore. When you throw one of everything out there and they're just thrown out there, it feels forced. And honestly, what's her face? Uh,
Daisy Ridley,
no, no, no.
oh Kathleen Kennedy.
The purple haired admiral chick who
Oh,
was in Matrix, or no, who was in
Laura.
Jurassic Park.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, and if you Laura Dern, is that her name?
yeah. I felt, oh God. Okay, first of all, I mean the fact that they broke all other Star Wars views on hyperspace with what they were doing kind of ruined it. And then the
Oh
fact,
yeah.
like how she interacted with Poe, like she wouldn't even. I mean, he was completely right, like the whole time, and
Hmm.
she just didn't listen to him because he was a man. I mean, I mean, people can argue other ways, but like the whole Poe and her argument about what it's like she didn't even listen to him. He ended up being right about it, and he had to break
Hmm.
out in order. I mean, it was just the whole. It was like she was just doing that to like prove a point instead of actually doing what's best for the rest of the rebel fleet. It's like okay, or
Hmm.
I'm sorry, the resistance is the they had to switch the words. So not rebels, they're resistance.
Hmm.
In those movies, and that was the other thing I didn't like. They were
Yeah.
exactly the same in every way, but they couldn't still be the rebellion. They had to be the resistance. And
Even though
then
Leia was basically running it for a lot of it.
exactly, and yeah, and all
Uh,
the other things that went on. Anyways,
so
I said we're not necessarily having the show though to debate the politics of or the identity
yeah,
politics. We're trying to talk about the philosophy
of the
between
Jedi and the
Jedi and
Sith.
the Sith. So let's
Yeah.
kind of narrow back to that
Well,
because I don't want to get a lot.
can
Oh, go
we?
ahead. Oh, go ahead.
If, I just want to pause for just a moment because I told you I had a toy for wine
Oh,
that I
okay.
forgot about.
All right, let's see it.
And my ex-wife bought this. It's a little clip thing that if can you see? There's like little
Yep. Move it a
magnets
little
in it.
bit other way. Move it up. Oh, more. No,
This
there,
way.
there. Perfect, perfect.
Okay, so
So that was
all
your
right,
that was
so
your penis clamp.
and I don't know if you can see. I drew arrows on it because magnets are polarized, and so you clip this onto the neck of the
Oh,
bottle, and it changes the flavor based on the direction of the polarized whatever. So
because
that's
it
why I drew the
pulls.
arrows on
Yeah, it pulls the
it.
minerals up in the direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna pour a glass. See if this improves it. Maybe I can get it
Does
up
it
to a 3.
does it happen that fast? I mean,
It happens as you pour.
oh, so it happens immediately.
I do remember. I haven't used it. Don't drink wine a lot anymore, but
Mm.
I do remember it changed the flavor. So I'm gonna.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so a little bit more back to philosophy here. So
Oh, that's a
we
little better. That's a little better.
is it actually okay?
Hmm.
Well, I don't have one. I can't change it. So everyone start donating money to this channel so I can afford to buy one of those magnets to pull the
And then
minerals in the wine.
when you get to the fancy restaurant and the guys there pouring the wine for you, you
And
can
be
be like, wait,
like,
wait,
wrong
here,
way. Whoop. I'm just kidding.
put this on there.
Wrong
Put this on that.
way, suckers. No,
Wrong way, Conway.
wrong
Is
way.
your name Conway? I don't know. Sorry. Back to Star Wars.
All
I
right. Well, but
apologize.
try to let's yeah back. And I don't know that we're gonna be able to fully achieve it, but I mean, it's just like the different philosophies. Sith focus inward, Jedi focus outward. Jedi focus on what we would consider more of like a Zen-like monk, while the Sith are more like 1990s, maybe even current, like self-motivators, like you could do this yourself. All you have to do is blah 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 blah. And while some of those were crackpots, they weren't like real like things. There were just enough people who were selling motivation where you would think like you gotta visualize yourself doing it. You just gotta do it. It's all inside of you. All the powers inside of you. You just have to see it happening and make it happen. Make it happen in your life. And that reminds me of the Sith, like the philosophy, because it's not necessarily evil. It is self-based, so you might think selfish, but they're not necessarily like, again, it doesn't I don't think it has to be like an evil like type like hurt other people philosophy. It could just be, you're really focused on yourself, maybe for some other goal besides, you don't have to hurt other people to help yourself, right? You can help yourself without causing harm, which I think is
Well, I
definitely
mean,
true,
like
and that could be a Sith like type code
I
thing.
think didn't Palpatine? I mean, sure, he was maybe harming people in the end, but like to get to the means to get to his end, he wasn't always hurting people. He might have just been making a couple manipulations here on how people thought or something. But
And then there was
which
the whole argument. Remember the prophecy of a balance of the Force, which the Jedi were for without realizing that they were the majority of the Force, right? So to
they can
balance the
only be
Force, how are you going to balance it if the light side has like tens of thousands of Jedi and I mean, we say two because that was the rule of two, but there kind of were a few more at different, and there was like three or four at different points where,
well,
but
yeah,
otherwise, but there were never like
yeah.
tens of thousands of Sith during this time, and they're like, oh, this is the prophecy of a balance of the Force, and it's like, You idiots! You don't want to balance the force when you're in. You're the ones who are in power right now. You're running the whole republic, and you want a balance of the force. Why would you want that when you're
Well,
winning?
they
You're
thought
winning.
they were they thought they were running the republic.
Well, they thought they were. I mean, ultimately they
At
weren't.
least
But
when Palpatine was around. But
well, I mean, and that was the whole thing too. Like he was looking to kind of take charge. And and that was the whole manipulation that you saw, which was he was in charge of both, during the Civil War or whatever between the Republic and the what was it, the Trade Federation, whatever it was, the two whatever it was, the outer rim kind of versus the inner worlds. So the inner worlds were like Coruscant, and I can't name them all. The outer worlds were like Tatooine and whatever else, and they were kind of fighting because of the trade rules, because it kind of adversely affected them. But that was all just a ruse, because he was, technically he was in charge of both sides, and he was throwing them at each other, just to kind of weaken kind of the state of everything. And then, at the end, he had Anakin prove himself by killing all the leaders of the Trade Federation. But that was kind of the thing, like,
but
you
I'll be
could
right
be.
back.
No. Oh. He'll be right back. Thom, I don't want to see you in your boxer shorts. All right, everyone. This is a very important time for me to speak. I hate to tell you this, but this used to be a very nice Darth Vader shirt. Over the years, though, the print has unfortunately faded, and you can even see like Darth Vader's lightsaber, which used to be like probably out to about here. It's now about here. Now, many of us, as we get older, we can sympathize with the whole lightsaber length situation. Ha, ha, ha. But I have a loving and beautiful girlfriend, and she has found this same shirt, well, this print for this shirt, again, and it will arrive sometime later this week. So I will, despite the fact that I really like this shirt of Darth Vader, a lot of it has faded. I mean, this shirt is probably close to, God, guys, I'd say about 10 years old. So yeah, that's what I can mostly say about myself. I guess I'm not a true Sith, otherwise I'd just be constantly talking about myself here. We'll give it another minute or two on Thom, because I can run a show by myself, but I don't want to. Talk a little bit more about this wine for like a second. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Wine gives me a headache. A lot of the time, especially wine like this. It's just not like my favorite thing. I mean, it's okay. I gotta say, 2.5. Maybe that was even too generous of me. Maybe 2.0 is even better. I mean, again, I don't necessarily think that it has anything to do with this type of wine or any of the other factors that come into play with this. Ultimately, I think, I'm a little bit biased. I used to love wine. I used to be able to drink the crap out of wine, and I could do so. I could hit it as, I remember Thom and I, we used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and Thom and I would drink wine like this like almost all night, and I was okay with it. But now I'm not a big fan of the wine, and it's one of those things, right, Thom? You heard
Right.
all that. You heard all that, right?
I did. I brought my headset into the bathroom. So
Thom, we do not get bathroom breaks during this show.
I apologize.
I am calling E.J. Galloway. I'm going to have your contract revoked.
Well, no, I was going to say I wanted to take my rating back and give it a 5 because for some reason my E&J Gallo check got canceled.
Or you looked behind your toilet and you found the prison wine you've been making, and you tasted it, and it was like, oh, this is better than anything I've ever had.
Oh, did you notice my sleight of hand? I swapped my glass out for that stuff.
Oh, did you? Now, what we talked about while you were away, me and the viewers, that is, we talked about this shirt. So as you can see, it's kind of faded, and you can see the lightsaber is clearly not where it used to be. But my beautiful and loving girlfriend has bought me this a new shirt with this same print on it, a new one. I'll have it in a few days. I'm gonna keep this shirt though
Sweet.
because I really like, it is mostly faded, but I really like the Darth Vader thing.
Sweet.
Anyways, well, we're kind of coming up on it anyways. So I guess, all right, Tom, let's just have it out. One last idea or thought or topic here. Jedi
Uh,
versus Sith. What are your true thoughts about each philosophy?
yeah. Well,
And
there was one thing I wanted to maybe
sure.
mention, which doesn't really. I think it shows up maybe more in like some of the video games and some books, but not so much in the movies. Is the concept I think of was it the Gray Jedi? They're
Oh yeah.
kind of in the middle between the Sith and the Jedi,
They
but
get they get all they get to eat their cake and have it too, right? Like
yeah,
they get
yeah,
to do dark side shit, but they don't suffer any of the issues with the dark side.
yeah, yeah.
I think
We don't have to get too
we
much
have
into
a
that, but
friend who said he's probably more into Star Wars than either of us. His name starts with a T, and it's not Tom. But we won't say it aloud. His name starts with a T. You know him well, and he has been obsessed with Star Wars since, and he's as old as I am, a little bit younger, just a few months younger than me. But he said he really, really, really dislikes the whole idea of Gray Jedi because, again, it's just, oh, I get to use the dark side, but I don't have to suffer any ill effects because of its use. They have that video game. I don't remember. Honestly, I never played it. I heard about
Knights
it.
of the Old Republic.
No, no, no.
Oh, no, you
No, no,
played that
no.
game.
Kotar, both 1 and 2, you definitely had to pick light side or dark side. It wasn't Kotar that brought that up. It was another game. I think the characters start. It wasn't Kylo. The character started with a. I think the main character's name starts with a K. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But anyways, the video game was fun as hell, I guess, because you got to run around and use the dark side. So as a video game, it was fun, but as like a philosophy in the greater Star Wars canon, probably doesn't work out so well because if that were true, there probably everyone would try to be a gray Jedi because they're like, oh, I can use both sides of the Force and I don't have to have any bad things happen to me. Let's do that. I mean, do you really think
Yeah,
if that existed that any of the other Darksiders would have just been like pure dark? They would have been like, "Hey, I can I can do all this shit and I don't gotta pay the consequences. So why would I bother?" I mean,
hmm
I don't know. That's just my opinion of Grey Jedi. I don't know. Um, but all right, Tom. Any other thoughts more about Jedi or Sith or anything like that? Really?
not really. I think kind of the little conversation we had about the Gray Jedi. I was kind of thinking there. I was like, does the Gray Jedi make it pointless to have the Jedi and the Sith because it's like they're all struggling to do this, and like you said,
They
the
just
Gray get
solved
to
the
have their
problem.
cake and eat it too. Yeah, it's like
There's no
so.
problem.
What? Wait. Yeah. I was gonna make a political comment. I'm gonna not do that. But anyways, no. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say. I mean, I I even though there's some been hits and misses lately with Star Wars, maybe more misses in some areas, but I still really like Star Wars. And
Oh, and if you haven't seen Andor, see Andor. Whether or not, even if you hate Star Wars, see Andor.
it's really good.
It
It's like
is.
real.
It's better than you
It's like
think.
it's great with world building, and it's funny because that review show that I watch, they reviewed Rogue One, and they're like, it's all right, and then the action at the end was great, and they didn't really like Cassian. But then when Andor came out, season one and then season two, they're like, this is like the best Star Wars because it's like they got the good world building, and they're like they liked Andor in it, but they're like the other characters are way more interesting. than Andor in a lot of cases, like his mom, even that little droid in some cases, and I love that little droid. I wish I'm trying to remember what happened to Andor season, which I think ended where Rogue One picked up.
Yeah,
So
and I actually, I'll be honest, I not that I'm ever dishonest with the show. I loved Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was awesome. I especially like the ending. Like there was that scene with Darth Vader that was really cool, but I also liked the
yeah,
beach scene where, they're unfortunately killed, but which I think it's been more than 10 years since that movie came out, so I think it's okay to talk. I think it was 2015 or something like that. But anyways, yeah, no, Rogue One is really really good. I would highly recommend watching Rogue One in addition to Andor's worth watching even if you're not a big like sci-fi fan or if you're not a space fan, whatever you want to consider.
it's there's a lot of drama. There's a bit of action. There's a little bit of stuff for everybody. There's like
Yeah.
the romantic tension and stuff like that,
So
and
even if you hate other Star Wars
mhm.
stuff,
There's a
you'd
lot of
still might
yeah.
really 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 like Andor because
Yeah,
it's really good. It's like
they
for all the television shows, I guess I would say, I'm not going to necessarily put it up against like the original movies or anything like that, but I'll just say this. Yeah, it's for TV shows, it's the best of the best for Star Wars. If you watch nothing else, watch Star Wars Andor. And then
I think I think the Mandalorian
it's pretty good
is
too.
pretty
Oh
close.
yeah,
It's pretty close for me. As far as what I like more, and I like them for different reasons. It's just
definitely.
the Mandalorian is just kind of a space western. It's great. It does get a little. The world kind of expands a bit in like the fourth season when he joins up the other Mandalorians, and various stories happen after that. I don't spoil anything because people are complaining about spoilers from a 40-year-old. So,
What? Darth Vader is Luke's father?
Mike, you shouldn't have said that.
Luke,
Which
I
which is
am
funny,
your
by the
father.
way. Which is kind of funny, by the way, because people complained that they didn't plan out the last three movies. They started with the Awakens, and then they brought in Ryan Johnson and said you could do whatever, and did what he did. And then the third movie, they're trying to fix what he did.
Well,
Well, but when they did the story, I heard in and with on that review show, they were talking about how the original trilogy came about, and they said they didn't have a plan for a trilogy. They made A New Hope, and I think they maybe had hopes that they could go on, but they didn't have a plan of
yeah.
action. I heard that if they did, then Luke and Leia wouldn't have kissed.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
Well, incest was more common in the 80s, right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding by that comment. Incest was common in the 80s, so it was okay. No, I'm just kidding. No, it wasn't. All right.
yeah.
Okay, so just ultimately here, Jedi philosophy, Sith philosophy. Which one do you favor, Tom? Just
You
go with
know,
it. Just go with your feelings.
oh, you're telling me to go with the dark side?
Go do what it is in your heart to do,
You
Tom.
know, in real life, I tend to be more kind of a middle of the road person, but I cannot go gray Jedi because I'm gonna just say for the sake of this conversation, they don't exist. Um,
I think for the movies and television shows, they don't exist. So.
as a person, I tend to appreciate the value of people around me, and I like to help them and support them in whatever way I can. So I think I might lean more towards the Jedi just because a lot of times the Sith's passion and feelings and stuff end up being self-centered in the end with what their ambitions are.
I would say I kind of agree with you. I would say ultimately following the Sith down that path of selfishness or so much focus on yourself, even if you don't hurt other people, is kind of ultimately self defeating because without others, we're a species, as humans, and and to the extent that they kind of show you in the Star Wars galaxy, which are most of the other species are very human-like, more or less. At least in the fact that, we need each other to get along. We're gonna do our best when we're doing it for someone else, not necessarily when we're doing it for ourselves. And while you have to have some, you can't just neglect yourself completely, though. Like you can't totally disregard yourself, because you have needs, and if they're not met, to some extent, you're just going to die anyways. Like if you don't eat food because you're trying to give it all to this starving population, I mean, you yourself will die, and maybe that's okay in some cases. But I'd say in a lot of them, your ability to help other people is largely based on how you help yourself to a degree.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
there's that line that you cross where you're so focused on yourself that you lose sight of anyone else.
And then you go dark side.
Yeah, and so
I would like to add with the as far as like doing stuff for others under the Jedi philosophy. Excuse me. You're not helping others because for selfish gain. You're helping others because that's the thing to do. It not even necessarily the right thing to do. It's just this is what needs to be done.
yeah,
You know,
and that's
this
what the
person
code is telling you to.
yeah. So yeah. Whereas with the Sith, they might help other people, like with Anakin and Padme. I mean, just
I mean,
I mean,
ultimately, like Anakin was trying to save
save
Padme's
her.
life, and the child. Well, he didn't know it was twins at the time, but he thought it was a child's life he was trying to save. But really, everything that he did was for himself, because
Yeah.
how they existed affected his existence, and that's why he said things like, I can't let you go, or I can't just let you die. But I think that was also based on a comment that Yoda made, where like it was something like, rejoice at those that pass, because they're now one with the Force, which I would say is kind of bullshit. If you're gonna tell someone just let other people die because they're gonna be, well, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know that was
Well,
the best advice to give, Yoda, especially at that time. It was very not, you know what I mean? Or he's like,
yeah.
train yourself to let go of everything that you value, or some, I don't remember the exact phrase, but
Mm.
it was something like that. Like these little words of wisdom didn't have the effect. I mean, it's like, know your audience, right? Take the temperature in the room. Like, know who you're talking to. You're talking to Anakin right now. These words of wisdom, you're telling him just to let his wife die and just be okay with it. I mean, it's like, maybe that's not the best advice, Master Yoda. I don't know what to tell you, man. You didn't read the room right. You didn't get it right. And then ultimately it all kind of backfired. So you could just say everything that happened in Star Wars is really Yoda's fault. No, I'm just kidding. Everything is Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh, really old, because Yoda didn't
I
live
mean,
up to what he
I
should have
mean,
been.
even the acolyte, he shows up for like just a
A
shot
scene, yeah.
at the a scene. He's like been sitting in his room that whole time, not feeling what's going on.
He doesn't know shit. He's just a little creepy green guy. No. I don't know.
But anyway, so I don't know. Real quick, so I poured another glass and I switched the thing around, and
Oh, yeah?
I think I like this better. It's a little more balanced between like that kind of sweet and
And
then
sour.
and the dryness. So
Well,
I do like that thing.
I will
I'll
take your
have to.
word for it.
But
All right.
I should get you one of these. But
Well, maybe I'll get one. All right. So just kind of wrapping it up here. All right, everyone. If you liked what you saw tonight, you want to see more of it, please subscribe. Again, like we said, I looked at our view through rates and everything else. 98% of the people who watch this are not also subscribing. So please, it takes you 1 second. Just please subscribe. If you like, again, I'm not trying to push you on it, but if you like what you're seeing, you want to see more of it, please subscribe. You can like it. You can share it even if you want. And also too, we got the Facebook. Whatever level of involvement you feel comfortable with, we would like. But again, this is what makes it possible for us to make these shows. So please subscribe, like,
mhm.
share. If you hate it, dislike. Actually, dislike. It's the same too. And comment either way. Again, we're open to both show ideas for alcohol and for just whatever geeky topic or idea you might want to watch. We're open to it all. So just let us have it. And that's what I would say is like our final words. Any final words before we go here, Tom? Anything you want to bring up or say?
No, just thanks for watching. And Mike, thanks. I'd like to always say thank you for having me as partner on the show here. Co-host.
Of course.
It means a lot. It's a lot of fun chatting like this and getting to share a drink and fun conversation. It's a great way if any of our viewers are kind of like me. I work from home and I'm alone a lot, so any interaction opportunities you have can be really good. So it's always fun to chat with Mike and and maybe at some point some of you guys might join us as a guest. I mean, I think we'd be open to that if the opportunity's right. Where's going.
For the right person and for the right price. I think I
I
could
mean,
arrange almost anything.
if you're hot, I mean,
Ah!
I mean, and I'm not just saying like I'm not gay or anything, but I mean, if you're a hot guy, whatever. I mean, beautiful people attract an audience, and that's what we need. Because look at us. Yeah, we might have to put a Halloween mask on to be more attractive, like a zombie thing
Well,
or something.
well, all of that said, all right. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next
Yes.
one. Good night.
Good night.